It's Wednesday, September 2nd, and this is now on HNN.
You want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Dr. Fauci is back at work after undergoing surgery on his vocal cords. His important update just ahead.
When you have a holiday like Labor Day, we have seen after the 4th of July, we saw after Memorial Day, a surge in cases.
Another major company is drastically cutting its workforce as the economic situation worsens.
I think with less people on the road, you actually notice a lot of it more.
We've learned Oahu's population of unsheltered homeless is on the rise amid the pandemic.
These stories, plus dignitaries gather to mark the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon, thanks for watching This Is Now. I want to start with this breaking news coming into the HNN Digital Center. This is from our traffic cameras, a live video feed you're seeing here. This is at Ku'alaka'i Parkway and H1 eastbound off-ramp. You can see there's a garbage truck there smoking on fire. HFD crews are responding. They blocked the road there. Sort of an unusual sight for us at this time of day, but they're working to put it out, and we will continue to monitor this and let you know if we have any updates. Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan, your director producer here at This Is Now, alongside Ashley. Now we got to get to the news from the State Department of Health.
Hey everyone, health officials say another patient with COVID-19 has died, bringing Hawaii's death toll to 75. DOH is also reporting 339 COVID-19 cases today, but we're told 90 of them are delayed results from previous days, and a couple dozen of the cases are from the surge testing events. Now the breakdown by county shows 302 cases are on Oahu, 35 are on the Big Island, and 2 are on Maui. Meanwhile, the nation's top infectious disease doc, Dr. Anthony Fauci, is back. He's been recovering from surgery to remove a polyp on his vocal cords. NBC's Chanel Jones sat down with the doctor.
I believe that by the time we get to the end of this calendar year, that we will feel comfortable that we do have a safe and effective vaccine.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is positive a COVID-19 vaccine is on the way, speaking about the possibility of getting one to the public more quickly by way of an emergency use authorization.
I would not be comfortable with a vaccine unless it was shown in a clinical trial clearly to be safe and effective. I've been through a number of vaccine trials in which EUAs have ultimately been done, but they've been done when there was enough data that you would really feel comfortable that it was safe and effective for the American public.
And as COVID cases spike on many college campuses, schools are struggling with what to do with infected students.
Should the campuses shut down and the kids go home?
It's the worst thing you could do. Keep them at the university in a place that's sequestered enough from the other students, but don't have them go home because they could be spreading it in their home state.
Labor Day is coming up and we've seen an increase in cases after past holiday weekends. Are you concerned about that as we head into this weekend?
When you have a holiday like Labor Day, we have seen after the 4th of July, we saw after Memorial Day, a surge in cases. Wear a mask, keep social distancing, avoid crowds. You can avoid those kind of surges. You don't want to be someone who's propagating the outbreak. You want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Can we get some control of this as we look ahead to flu season? And are you concerned about a twindemic, as they say?
You know, I am. And what I would really like to see is kind of a full court press to get us way down as a baseline so that when you get these cases in the fall, they won't surge up. They'll be controllable.
The annual homeless count back in January saw a slight increase in numbers on Oahu, but that was before the pandemic, and now unofficial accounts suggest that the numbers are beginning to surge. Here's Rick Daysog.
All around Oahu, homeless encampments appear to be growing during the pandemic. Places like Iwalei, Chinatown, and Mo'iliili, which had dwindled to a handful of tents, now have more than a dozen.
Just talking to my outreach team, they're saying that the encampments are kind of growing a little bit. I think with less people on the road, you actually notice a lot of it more.
Connie Mitchell, executive director for the Institute for Human Services, says the pandemic, which pushed people on the brink of homelessness onto the streets, is just one of the causes.
You have to remember that there have been some people that have been released from WWII.
Another factor, an outbreak at IHS's men's shelter in Ivalai forced them to stop accepting new residents. When the IHS closed its men's shelter to new admissions, many of the homeless moved near this church, and the new homeless population here is taxing the church's resources. St. Elizabeth's Church in Kalihi was already a site for serving the homeless.
Before March, we were averaging about 30 bags of groceries a day. During this COVID outbreak, we're about 100 bags a day. And of course, when the men's shelter closed, it went up about another 100 bags on top of that.
But there's good news for the church today. The city has agreed to provide 2 daily meals for homeless residents who have been turned away from IHS. Rick Daysog, Hawaii News Now.
Hundreds of employees at the Four Seasons Resort's Lanai are being furloughed or laid off, and many are worried the state's unemployment system won't be able to handle the new surge. The resort says all employees were kept on the job with pay and benefits from the March 25th statewide lockdown through the property's reopening on July 1st. But company officials say business significantly dropped after the inter-island quarantine was reinstated last month. In a warn notice to the state labor department, the Four Seasons Resort's Lanai says 752 employees will be furloughed. The company says cuts started on August 11th and the entire property will be closed for business for the foreseeable future. The resort joins other businesses like Hawaiian Airlines that managed to resist major layoffs for months but can no longer carry the costs.
Aloha.
Lawmakers say they're very concerned that the state unemployment office will become overwhelmed again with this surge in layoffs on top of the existing backlog.
The initial ramp up at the convention center, which had about 200 plus volunteers that process and worked on unemployment claims, have been substantially scaled back because a lot of those state employees got called back into their regular work.
House Finance Chair Sylvia Luke says President Trump's executive order for federal unemployment benefits also complicates things because the action says in order for recipients to qualify for the federal benefit, they must already be receiving $100 per week in state benefits.
The Trump executive order puts a new wrinkle because it requires $100 weekly match, which complicates it.
When asked, the state labor department says it's prepared. Officials say problems with the system's mainframe and portal access have been addressed, and they say they've hired 49 additional staff members with plans to hire 41 more.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, unfortunately, dozens of other local companies are also talking about job cuts and layoffs. Civil Beat's Chad Blair joined us this morning on Sunrise to discuss just that.
Chad, interesting read. Stewart has an article focusing on local businesses and the letters that they've written to state officials warning them that furloughs and layoffs are coming. Before we get to anything else, just how bad is it?
Well, it's bad. Stewart shared these letters from these companies with Sumner LaCroix. He's an economist at UH, and he said, you know, those letters really represent the canary in the coal mine. And what that means is things are going to get a whole lot worse from his estimation based on what these employers are telling the Labor Department and their employees about their own financial troubles.
Yeah, you know, the letters also tell us which companies are being hit really hard and the numbers and the types of jobs that have been affected. What do they tell us?
Well, they are very specific in so many ways. It includes the Hilton Hawaiian Village facing 1,900 employees being furloughed. That is a remarkably high number. It includes companies like Sea Life Park, also DFS Group. They sell luxury brands. Companies like the Honolulu Cookie Company also facing layoffs. This is because of a law, Steve, by the way, that requires employers, if they're going to face unexpected job losses, they got to tell their employees, and they also have to notify the state labor department.
Yeah, how key is this too, Chad? Because Stewart makes a special note that some of these layoffs are people that normally would not be vulnerable to the dips in the tourism industry.
Yeah, that's one of the big surprises, even though it does include a lot of hotels and resorts and restaurants, as you might imagine, industries tied to tourism. It's not just the lower paying jobs, the bellhops and the valets, for example. It also includes a lot of white collar positions, professional jobs, people in management. So that's another surprise that comes from this information shared with the Labor Department.
Yeah, Chad, also the business community is not happy with leadership within the state. And maybe we can also focus on just how bad do you foresee this getting as we go along?
Well, the experts tell me that it's going to get a lot worse. I think one of the people that Stuart talked to is a general manager at the Hyatt-centric Waikiki Beach. And he says what's so terrifying is the uncertainty. I mean, think about it. It's been 6 months now, and in many ways, everyone's kind of been on hold thinking this is going to be temporary. Well, now it's looking like a lot of these changes are going to be permanent. People like Sherry Minor McNamara at the Hawaii Chamber of Commerce are very worried and very disappointed with Governor Ige in particular over the leadership in the state.
75 years ago today, a Japanese delegation formally signed surrender documents aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay, officially ending World War II. A commemoration ceremony just wrapped up at Pearl Harbor. Casey Lund has more.
A truly breathtaking ceremony, and obviously it's not the ceremony that has been planned for years here, commemorating the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II and the surrender of Japan, which happened aboard the USS Missouri. A really great morning that started with those warbirds flying over the battleship Missouri just after 8:30 this morning, and then the ceremony kicking off with opening remarks and some very special guest speakers, including Governor David Ige, General Mark Milley, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Philip Davidson, and Mark Esper, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, and those very special 13 local World War II veterans that were allowed aboard the Missouri.
On behalf of President Trump, thank you all for being here today. It is my great honor to be on the deck of this historic ship as we commemorate the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II and commemorate and reflect on the sacrifices and victories of our service members and allies who helped fight for and secure peace. I would like to extend a very special welcome to the members of the greatest generation here with us this morning, whose remarkable stories of courage and heroism are forever etched into our nation's heart and history.
And for the many veterans that were not able to attend today's special ceremony, the Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, made some remarks virtually to those folks at their homes so they could feel included in today's special event. Reporting at the USS Battleship Missouri, I'm Casey Lund for This Is Now.
Thanks, Casey. Let's go to the Big Island now. The state has fined the owner of a luxury yacht $100,000 for damaging a coral reef in the Kailua Bay zone of the Kona Coast Fishery Management Area. The foreign vessel dropped anchor in 2018, breaking more than 400 colonies of stony coral and about 150 square feet of live rock. Biologists say they've righted and stabilized more than 50 large coral colonies and over 250 coral fragments. The money from the fine will go towards supporting coral reef management and restoration in West Hawaii. The FAA and the FBI are investigating a mystery at Los Angeles' airport. 2 pilots reported seeing a man wearing a jetpack flying around on Sunday. Chris Van Cleef has more on this.
Tower, American 1997, we just passed a guy in a jetpack.
Then another jetpack sighting moments later from a Southwest pilot.
Skywestern 962, and we just saw the guy pass by us.
Jetpacks like this one from LA-based Jetpack Aviation are not common. Only a handful of companies in the world make them, and they are not commercially available. The company says their technology was not involved. Jetpack Aviation CEO confirmed to CBS News he has been in touch with the FAA about the technology, but says their aircraft does not have enough fuel to get a person to 3,000 feet and back to the ground safely. Adding, they are loud, so it seems unlikely no one on the ground would notice it taking off, flying, or landing. And then there's this from the air traffic controller.
JetBlue 23, use caution. person in a jetpack reported 300 yards south of the LA final at about 3,000 feet.
Everybody's 23 were hurt. You're definitely lucky.
Only in LA.
Investigators are skeptical it was, in fact, a man wearing a jetpack at 3,000 feet, but clearly those pilots saw something, and flying that close to planes trying to land is a concern. But what it was remains a high-flying mystery over Los Angeles. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Denver.
Hey, sorry, my audio was clipped there for 1 second there. I can't even imagine doing that. Can you?
No, it looks fun.
I know.
But at
Well,
3,000
they
feet,
offer the water ones, right,
Right.
around town. So I wouldn't even do that. But who would ever think to do that by LAX? Scary stuff.
only in LA.
Yeah, right. All right, guys, let's turn it over to Guy Hoggy with a look at the weather.
We'll talk about surf before we get to the forecast, because the surf is actually looking up. It's maybe 1 to 3 with occasional bigger sets. He's likely to get bigger throughout the day, 1 to 3 in town, and a bigger swell is due in this weekend. So this is what everybody's in for out at Pearl Harbor and across the state. Very warm temperatures, likely to get to 89, maybe beyond 90 for some leeward spots. And we'll have slower trade winds today than we've had for the last few days. So it's going to feel a little bit warmer than it has been. And what we see today will likely continue through tomorrow. And then on Friday, that's when things change. That's when trade winds get a little bit stronger. And once the trade winds come back, they'll be breezy pretty much into the middle of next week. So overall, the nice, beautiful weather will continue.
Let's see what the internet's talking about today. It's state fair time across the country, and many have been canceled, including in New York's. But that did not stop the ADA, the American Dairy Association, from displaying its annual showcase, which is a butter sculpture, of course.
Of course.
Of course. This year's theme is Nourishing Our Future. It has 2 scenes. On one side, you can see a little virtual learning happening there. And on the other side, a child is getting a nutrition worker delivering them a meal. It used 800 pounds of butter to make this.
Yum.
I remember going to the state fairs in the Midwest, especially in Illinois.
They were huge, right?
Yeah, I have a very distinct memory of seeing a giant butter cow. It was huge. And it was impressive, and I'm glad they still do them, even when the pandemic has canceled so many.
That's right, that's right. And we've told you a lot of people are doing puzzles during the pandemic. Well, not surprisingly, Lego is also benefiting from people spending more time at home. The toy maker said sales jumped 14% in the first half of 2020 compared to the same period last year. And it's not just Lego. Video game companies also have seen a surge in sales since social distancing restrictions have encouraged people to find new ways to pass the time. Nintendo's operating profit more than quadrupled in its most recent quarter.
And the 2 companies you just mentioned, Nintendo, teamed up this year. We showed it a couple weeks ago, that Nintendo Lego set. I saw it at the mall the other day.
Did you buy it?
No, I should have, because now I have no opportunity. I'll have to get it online. But it was really cute.
Yeah.
And it was really animated. Loved it.
Amazon bounced back. They announced back in 2013 that they would use drones to make deliveries. Well, the Federal Aviation Administration just approved an air carrier certificate for the company. Amazon says it will use the approval to begin to test deliveries, but declined to say when or where the test will take place. Social distancing concerns during the pandemic have increased interest in using robots for delivery, but the technologies aren't ready yet for widespread use. So the FAA is also still developing regulations needed for drone use, such as remote identification. Amazon is the 3rd drone delivery company to receive the certification from the FAA.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm excited about that. I think that would be really cool and efficient.
And they're promising some deliveries within 30 minutes. So probably not Hawaii, but
yeah, I wonder how it would work here.
Although they did buy that property.
Yeah,
on Sand Island.
Yeah, that's a big facility.
Yeah.
All right, Walmart Plus is also changing things up. That's the new subscription service. Sam Bruck has more on that.
At a time, many customers are concerned about COVID-19 and looking to avoid crowds at all costs.
See that line? I had to wait in that line. If I can get it delivered to my house, I'd do it in a minute.
Retail behemoth Walmart is stepping up its e-commerce game, offering a $98 annual subscription called Walmart Plus. The company says it'll give shoppers access to speedier deliveries, leveraging its 4,700 plus stores across the country, more than half of which can drop off goods the same day. From food and toys to electronics, a basket of more than 160,000 items.
We've seen a massive uptick in people wanting delivery, some people wanting 2-hour delivery, same day, or up to 7 days in advance.
A major perk in a pandemic, but the new program comes with a caveat. Unlike competitor Amazon, whose Prime service costs $119 a year and has no minimum order price except for same-day and Amazon Fresh food deliveries, Walmart Plus requires a minimum $35 order to avoid fees.
If you're getting a cardboard box with Amazon, you can get one item that's $5. If you're getting a cardboard box from Walmart, you have to get $35 or more.
CNBC retail reporter Melissa Repko points out that Walmart's grocery footprint gives it an edge, with stores 10 miles or less from 90% of Americans.
If you want to do delivery to someone's door, particularly with something like milk or eggs, you need to be very close to them and you need to get to them fast. And that's what Walmart's counting on with this program.
The Plus program also offers a unique tool for in-store purchases. Called Scan and Go, shoppers can ring up items on their phone and pay electronically. But Walmart insists it's not trying to eat into Amazon's profits.
When we designed this, we really didn't design it looking at making dents in anybody else's business. What we did was take a really good hard look at what our customers need and what they want and what they look for us for.
Now, Amazon Prime has been around for more than a decade. Some people might be wondering, why is Walmart doubling down now on online subscription services? Part of that answer, an insatiable desire from customers for online deliveries, especially food. Walmart saw a nearly doubling of its online sales last quarter. Now, you're not getting video streaming services, but as a trade-off here, customers for Walmart Plus are getting up to 5 cents off per gallon of gasoline in a program the company says is still evolving. In Miami, Sam Brock, NBC News.
Yeah, and Walmart's making some big news. We've told you that they're trying to team up with Microsoft to buy the app TikTok to kind of infuse shopping, online shopping with those short film videos. So we'll see what happens with them.
Be interested in the subscription service though with them because I love Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. No lines. You get it delivered to your house. So let's get to some good news now.
All right, so if this pandemic has you missing your drinking buddies, well, man's best friend is getting his own beer. It's not what you think though. So it's called Dog Brew by Bush. It's a non-alcoholic bone broth made from bone-in pork butt, celery, mint, turmeric, and ginger. So you can pour the whole can into the water bowl or use it to soften your pup's food. It's not the first time a brewery has included dog beer on its list, but it may be the most expensive. So a 4-pack sells online for $10. What? It's currently sold out, but you can sign up for a waiting list, and Bush says it will donate $1 for every 4-pack to the Best Friends Animal Society.
Did you just say $10 for a 4-pack of dog beer?
I know, and it's basically chicken broth or pork broth. Yeah, I mean, some people love their animals.
Yeah, me too. And no cat beer? What?
No cat beer, sorry. Did you know, though, that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are not officially divorced yet?
No, I did not know that.
Me neither. Well, anyway, the former couple owns a French chateau named Miraval, which has produced award-winning wines since 2012. Well, Pitt is announcing the launch of a new champagne called Fleur de Miraval in October. The price per bottle, any guesses?
$200?
Double that, $400. Yeah, it's fancy.
Sorry, we're not on a budget here today. You guys, wanted to spend some time reminding you that next Monday starts our brand new 4 p.m. show on KHNL. You don't want to miss it. Ashley and Mark will be there every day for you, giving you the latest live updates from here at home and across the world. That's going to do it for today's This Is Now. Thank you so much for joining us. Wanted to remind you also, we are podcasting. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. You guys have a great day and stay safe out there.
Aloha.